So what are my thoughts on those behind-the-scenes images of Halloween Kills? Well, let's jump right into it. That movie is a shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. It's all theater of the mind. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I want to go over and talk about those behind-the-scenes photos from the set of Halloween Kills that have been making their rounds online over the last number of days. Now, I have seen those photos. I've seen all the photos you've seen, and I saw them at the same times that you saw them. I just was unable to get to a video right away because I've been so busy over the last week or so. And I was also a little under the weather there for a couple of days. I'm okay, though. I'm all right, just a little... But I'm good. I'm ready to rock. So, okay, let me start here. Yes, there have been behind-the-scenes photos from Halloween Kills making the rounds on the interwebs. And there's been this, with that, there has been the speculation and the acknowledgement that it looks like they are shooting a flashback scene to 1978 in Halloween Kills. Now, when I saw the photos and I saw what people were talking about and how they were coming to those conclusions based on the many photos that they were looking at, I totally understood why they were coming to that conclusion. But I needed a little more for myself, a little more confirmation for myself. And I was able to get it through a website called projectcasting.com, which is an open casting site where they post open casting calls. And there is an open casting call on there for Halloween Kills, and they specifically talk about a 1978 flashback. So it's been all but confirmed. And I say all but confirmed because I don't think anybody from the studio or, part of the production has come out and said, yes, we're shooting a flashback scene in 1978. I mean, why would they do that? But this is the next best thing. And the reason for that is because casting websites that post open casting calls receive breakdowns of specifics in regards to what the production is looking for. So when you see what I'll read to you in a second here, what they're looking for and the specifics that they say, that's not just projectcasting.com looking at a photo going, well, I guess that's what they're looking for. Hey, no. This is coming from the production. So they are shooting a flashback scene. So projectcasting.com, this is what they have to say. They get specific information from the production offices. And this is what they say. Anyone filming a 1978 flashback scene, make sure you are submitting your best 70s hair photo. That doesn't come from projectcasting.com. That comes from the production, right? Because there's specific information they have to put out there not to waste your time, the production's time, their time. They don't want to look bad as a site, right? So that's like, okay, yeah, it's been all but confirmed now. 3 1978 neighbors. You'll probably be shooting on the 27th of September and September 30th, which is today as of shooting this video. 5 trick-or-treaters, short and slender, 18 and older, that can portray kids, September 27th and September 30th. 8 1978 police officers. Think Chips Cops. That's funny, Chips Cops. I love that show. October 4th. And 2 forensic team, October 4th as well. So that right there tells you that, okay, they are shooting a flashback scene. The question now comes down to, are those photos of Michael Myers on set of what looks like the fish belly white mask and totally, is that from 1978? Yep, it could be. It gives more credence. It gives more credibility to having that assumption looking at those photos. So here's my thoughts on the flashback. Here are the 3 different types of flashbacks that exist. I mean, there's more, but these are the 3 main types of flashbacks in no particular order. Okay, the first being a fully fleshed out, realized scene. Like you got dialogue, you got music, you got effects. It lasts, 2 or 3 minutes. It's like you're watching a whole different movie for 2 or 3 minutes. Fully fleshed out, fully realized. And the perfect example of this would be It Chapter 2. And I mentioned It Chapter 2 because it's the most recent movie I've seen where I think they do this. Now, we know that It Chapter 2 takes place in present day. I mean, it's 2016, but for all intents and purposes, right? Present day. And in that movie, they flash back a lot. far too many times. But they flash back a lot to the kids in the 1980s. But they're not just glimpses or moments. They are fully fleshed out, fully realized scenes. And you sometimes forget that you're watching It Chapter 2 and you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching It Chapter 2. Because you're with them for so much and for so long, they almost feel like deleted scenes that were from the first movie. Fully fleshed out, fully realized. The second example of a flashback would be sort of the other end of the spectrum of that, which would be glimpses. You know, maybe somebody's telling a story, and through that exposition to help the viewer, you know, to make it a little more visually interesting, we see glimpses of the story that they're telling, but it's not fully fleshed out. It's not fully realized. Maybe you hear a bit of dialogue, but maybe not. Very dreamlike, echoey kind of thing. You know the shit I'm talking about. The other one would be sort of to split the difference. So it's not fully fleshed out, not fully realized, not quite hazy, dreamlike, but maybe it's about 30 or 40 seconds long. Maybe if there is dialogue, there's some reverb on the dialogue, so it clearly illustrates to the viewer that this is a dream or this is a flashback. Maybe there's like a dreamlike hue over the picture or something, that kind of thing. Splitting the difference, right? So the question comes down to, well, what are they going to utilize in Halloween Kills? Maybe they're going to utilize one of those things. Maybe they're going to utilize all three of those things in different moments. I don't know. But we do know, according to Project Casting, we do know that according to Project Casting, I want to say Project Casting book for some reason, projectcasting.com, we do know that it is 1978. And if we are led to believe that those photos of Michael that look like he's wearing an original Halloween Michael Myers mask from 1978 are from 1978 and he's part of the flashback, the question now becomes, which of these are they going to use? The one that worries me the most is the fully fleshed out, the fully realized, 100% as if I'm watching a different movie. That bothers me. Now, to be fair, I'm a Halloween purist, so I'm a bit biased, but not without validity, I believe. I believe my argument has some validity to it. And the reason for that is because I don't want to see a fully fleshed out, fully realized scene from 1978 that lasts 2 or 3 minutes or even a minute. And the reason for that is because you give yourself more of an opportunity to fuck shit up. You're going back now to 78. You're playing in that world. You're playing with the cinematic DNA of Halloween. You're playing with the chemicals and the makeup that make up that movie. And you're telling us that this is part of that. Even though it happens in Halloween Kills, you've gone back and you're adding shit. You're adding continuity to that. I mean, we all know that David Gordon Green wanted to reshoot the ending of Halloween 1978 and have it in Halloween 2018. And John Carpenter was against it. And he's like, why do you want to change the ending of my movie? Don't change the ending of my movie. And David Gordon Green was like, oh, okay. And he didn't, yes, leave Halloween the way it is. We don't need to see everything spilled out for us on a silver platter. And if Michael Myers is part of that, are we seeing it from his perspective? Because I don't want to see anything from his perspective. The integrity of the enigma of the boogeyman and the shape must be preserved. Because I don't want to see anything that humanizes Michael. We know that Michael is human, but the mystery and the mystique of that enigma that is him, whether you consciously realize it or not, is part of the reason why you love that character. And part of the reason why it sucks when you see him in humanized situations and scenes, like floating down the river at the beginning of Halloween 5, stumbling like a drunk up to the hermit's house, kneeling like a turd, at the end of Halloween 5 in chains next to a water fountain. Oh, shucks, we don't need to see that. So I don't want to see Michael apprehended. And what's Hawkins going to do? Get on the ground. And Michael gets on the ground and he's apprehended, put in handcuffs, thrown up against the side of a cruiser and watch your head, Michael, into the car. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that shit. We must not see that stuff. So if they are going to show us fully fleshed out, realized scenes, that concerns me, especially when you're adding to the DNA of what is arguably a perfect horror movie. I mean, it's not, nothing's perfect, but you know what I mean, right? The other possibility is, of course, we know that Tommy Doyle is in this movie. We know that Lindsay Wallace is in this movie. We know that Marion Chambers, Nancy Stevens, she's coming back apparently, so she's going to be in this movie. She's another 1978 alum. So Lonnie Alam is in this movie. I mean, maybe the flashback is from Lonnie Alam's perspective, right? Because Lonnie Alam was a kid. Maybe he saw Michael, or maybe he had a run-in with Michael that we don't know about because we never saw it in the 78 film. Again, we don't need to see that. But I'm just saying that maybe Lonnie Alam will be talking about this time that he ran into Michael Myers, even though it was unbeknownst to us because we never saw that in the 1978 film, but entirely possible that it could have happened. That's going back to my first thought, though. Or I guess it kind of connects to my second thought, which is that Tommy and Lindsay sort of, when we meet their characters and maybe there's moments of exposition, they tell us about certain things that we weren't aware of, or I remember, and we flash back, or, that kind of thing. But it's not necessarily fully fleshed out, fully realized scenes. It's just sort of glimpses of things that we're seeing as they're telling us a story. That's another way to do it. But again, I don't want to see him captured. I don't want to have a Halloween 5 moment where he's in this jail cell kneeling next to a water fountain in chains going, "Shucks, they caught me." I don't need to see that. It's lame. It humanizes him. It takes the mystique and the boogeyman out of the character. So, I don't know what you would show after that. Clearly, he's been shot 6 times. He might be feeling the effects of that. But I don't want to see any sort of capture or get on the ground, and we got him. He's thrown up against the side of the squad car, and he's like, oh fuck. I don't want to see that. I don't need to see it. I mean, it's just, he obviously was captured somehow, but I don't want to see that. And that concerns me. And maybe they won't. Maybe we'll just see the residual effects, hear the sirens and Michael's gone around the corner and we just see the residual effects of the aftermath of the crime scene. Okay. I don't think we need to see that either, but okay, that might be interesting depending on how you do it. But anything involving the shape, less is more. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't know. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. Do you share the same worries? Like, you're like, okay, cool, but what is it? Like, it all depends on what they're going, like what type of flashback they're going to use and whether Michael's going to be a big part of it, because I don't think he should be a big part of it, in my opinion. But comment below and let me know your thoughts. What do you think should be done? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Comment below and let me know. It's crazy shit, man. Hey, if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemccrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time when I'm not posting here. All my links are in the description, as well as links to my Patreon, my merch store, my IMDb, my Twitter, my Insta. I'm on Insta. All that shit's down there. Check them out till your heart's content. Yeah, Flashback. Interesting shit, guys. When you start playing around with the DNA of Halloween, that concerns me because you're adding stuff now that never existed. And anyway, maybe I'll do a video on it specifically, but hey, I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.